Hey everybody, welcome back to WineupTV. I'm your host Wayne with Mark Nichols. It's Mark. He's from Australia. When you come back, he broke off from his last job and he started his own label. Imagine that, an Oregon winemaker that branched out. So when we come back, he's going to talk about William Rose. Hey Mark, good to see you again.
Likewise, mate.
It's been, last time I ran into you was at our old shop.
Yeah, you're in New Digs, which looks fantastic.
Confined in that little 500 square feet of hell.
Yeah, you can swing a cat in here.
I know, we can. So, yeah, thanks a lot for the compliment. So this is, it's coming around. You know, this is, it's our new gig here in North Portland. And, we're loving it. The neighbors are loving it, and the basement, our little cellar, the wine storage lockers are almost done. The pool table's all leveled out still, and it's looking good. But heck with me. Let's talk about you. So, how'd you come over here to the States to start with?
All right. So, a mutual friend of mine who builds great processing equipment gave me a call one day, and there was this winery in Oregon, in Eugene, Oregon, that needed a winemaker in a hurry, and I spoke to the owner of said winery, and a few days later I was on a plane over here helping them out for harvest.
Very cool.
It was about 7 years ago, and I haven't left.
And one day you just decided, you know what, I could do this on my own.
Yeah, look, when I took the job, I had been in process to sort of set up something back in Australia where I'd have my own wine label going, process fruit, do some custom crush, help other local wineries, that sort of stuff. And I've just delayed the project by 7 years, and you know, like yourself, about 3 months ago I opened an urban winery and tasting room in Eugene called the Oregon Wine Lab.
You should maybe have enough room for like some pot, because when they legalize the pot in Oregon, it's going to be a combination.
It'd make a great cover crop, you know.
It would make a great cover crop.
It's a thirsty plant as well, so you know, it's help pay those bills, especially in the freezing years.
Absolutely. Yeah. So your program, WilliamRoseWines, what's the meaning behind the label?
So William Rose is, I guess, a bit of an alter ego. My last name's Nickel Estate doesn't really work for me. William is my middle name. So William Rose is this fictitious bootlegger who drives around the countryside in his 1930s Bentley called Demon Bird.
Isn't that awesome? His labels are fantastic. All right, and you do a total of how many different wines?
Currently I've got 5. I've got a couple of Pinots in the work from 2013, as well as a Semsav, a Sangiovese Syrah, and
gotta speak,
some Syrah Cabernet as well.
You know, this Australian shortness, because I was telling Mark that a couple of months ago I took around 3 people from Tasmania, and they shorten all their words, and it's like, excuse me? I kept saying, excuse me? Speak a little bit longer sentences. So very interesting. Okay, so your total case production is about 350 to 500 cases depending upon the year.
Yep.
That's manageable. All right, so let's go through your wines. First of all, you like the Riesling.
Yeah, look, I'm a Riesling nut back home in Australia. Dry Riesling is the rigueur. This wine is, I guess, my first homage to making that style of wine. For me, Oregon grows fantastic Riesling, both as a sweet or a dry style. This is a dry style.
Is all your fruit from the Eugene area? The southern Willamette Valley?
So I basically will buy fruit from anywhere in the state of Oregon where I see potential for that parcel of fruit to make the style of wine I envisage and would like to make, and obviously want to drink and obviously hopefully sell.
Sure. What's your visions and your passion towards the Riesling?
I love the variety. I love wine periods. You know, people ask me what's my favourite wine, but it depends on the occasion. Is it breakfast? Is it dinner? Riesling for me, summertime, crisp, clean, fresh. Wintertime, pair it with some nice Gruyere cheese sitting around the fire. Thank you very much.
Extremely bone dry. Great nose on this. You get some of that petrol, and you don't have a lot of Oregon Rieslings that have that petrol characteristic to it. This is one of them. It's nice, and what I like about it, it's lemony, limey. It's good acidity, not zero, maybe 0.1% residual sugar. There's hardly anything in here.
It's pretty much bone dry.
It's pretty much bone dry.
But loads of fruit. So the vineyard, it's a single vineyard wine. The vineyard had actually 2 clones of Riesling on it. One that tiny little berries, zesty, limey, really high searing acid. The other berries were bigger and bigger clusters. more tropical, floral characters. Fermenting them together, it's given me this lovely rounded wine that still has that nice, crisp, clean finish. This wine's going to age. It'll go 10 years in the cellar.
I completely agree. And one thing with wines, guys, is the higher the acidity level, the longer it should age. It's got to have a balance as well. But a lot of the Oregon Pinots in hot years, they don't have the acidity, do not age as gracefully as cooler vintages with higher acidity. All right, very nice. And the retail on that is roughly
$20.
About $20. All right, let's go to your rosé. Tell me a little about the rosé. Digging the label still.
Thank you. So this wine is called Prohibition Rose. Prohibition Rose was the dawn of the Portland bootlegging scene back in the day. No one knows what her real name was. I discovered her by watching this Ken Burns documentary, and there's this famous story of her, the house where they had all their illegal grog that was being raided, and she had one of these big dresses on. She put all the booze underneath her dress and just stood in the middle of the room.
It's amazing when you can keister when you need to.
Don't know what you're talking about. I'm watching this documentary. I've made this rosé. I've got this bootlegging theme going with my wines, and it's like, okay, Prohibition Rose it is.
Okay, Prohibition Rose. What's the grape in here?
Merlot Syrah Grenache.
A little bit of.
It's made by doing saignets, so juice drain-offs on red fruit prior to initiating fermentation on making the red wines. So it's 77-15-8. So Merlot is a predominant variety. I also have a table wine Merlot that is the same fruit, basically.
You know, some of you guys and gals out there don't drink rosé. I love rosé. I'm not a huge fan of sweet rosés. I like the drier style. And this is it. And it's 2012. I think 11s were really acidic, cold vintage.
Yep.
The 12s are really rich, round. They got a great mouthfeel on them. Beautiful color on that.
And it's lovely and fruity, but not sweet. For me, it's got this lovely floral honey note.
That's very nice. Retail?
16.
All right. About 15, 16 bucks. Nice. All right. Let's go on to some reds. I like how you're hand dipping your bottles. Apparently,
it takes a bit of work.
Apparently, you have some time on your side.
Well, if not, I have a trusty sidekick who helps me in that regard.
You know what? We all should have some nice trusty sidekicks. All right. So.
All right. Barbera Syrah.
Barbera Syrah.
Now, Barbera in Oregon is a pretty rare beast. It's a hot climate variety, fairly high acid, needs a hot season to metabolize those acids to bring them down before you pick the fruit. Having said that, the fruit from this vineyard is actually a cooler site, so it's taken a long time for this wine to settle down. It's a 2008. It still drinks like a very youthful wine. It's got lots of time to live. 50% Barbera, 50% Syrah, 100% neutral oak. 2.5 years in barrels, so just allowing the oxygen ingress through the wood to soften the tannins, to soften the wine, let that acid mellow out a bit. It's still a bright, fresh wine, great with fattier foods, so cheeses, cheddars, salamis, roast lamb. If you love a bit of lamb on the barbie.
Kangaroo. How about something that's from down home?
Well, kangaroo is a pretty lean meat. The richness of it would certainly go with it flavour-wise, but I would be sautéing it in lots of butter. Okay, there you go. Which I would sauté in lots of butter.
I can't wait to come over and have some brew with you. Yeah, right?
So
all right.
You've actually touched on a theme. I love to cook, and so I try to make food-friendly wines. So generally good acid backbone and fruit-forward.
It's very approachable. It's a 2008. You know, the problem with most of us drinking wines is we drink our wines way too young. You know, you go to the store, you buy a bottle of wine, you bring it home, boom, you pop the cork. Very few people buy cases of wine anymore, stick them away. We either don't have the time, don't have the patience, or we just don't have the foresight of how wines age and what they will taste like in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years down the road.
And it's a shame because one of the things I love is drinking older wines. The characters they get, they just become so rich and just... They become wines that you only need that much in your glass to enjoy, so you can open a bottle with a great number of friends and share what has happened to that wine.
Absolutely. I like this wine. It's got really soft tannins. It's got a great mouthfeel to it, good acidity, real dark, rich plum fruits. It's a really nice wine, and I would have never thought of blending anything with Barbera, especially Syrah, but it seems to work extremely well.
It was a chance blend, and it just worked.
It's amazing what things happen when you take a chance on them.
Yeah.
And the retail on this?
30.
All right. $30. All right. Last wine we're going to talk about is the Gewürztraminer. This is a late harvest Gewürzt. It's in a 375?
500.
It's 500. Look at that. 500. Yep. All right. So.
Now, I affectionately call this breakfast wine. I don't know how appropriate that is, but this, a nice brunch. Thank you very much for coming. Having said that, it's a great end of a dinner party and a progression of wines, lots of rich food. Sip of this.
I just love the floral, orange blossom nose on Gewürztraminer. There's something about a Gewürz. Even if it's bone dry, you're still going to get that brilliant nose on it. This, what's the residual sugar in this?
It's about 4%, but it's also got a fairly high TA, so acidity level, which balances the sweetness. So it leaves your mouth watering.
It does.
You know, it's fresh and fruity. Even though it's a very sweet wine, it's fresh and fruity, leaves your mouth watering. You don't need a glass of water after it. A little bit of spritz there, just to make it nice and lively.
Delicious. You know, it's these late harvest wines in Oregon, they used to be more prominent, I think, 25 years ago. And I think now winemakers are starting to get back to some of that, you know, especially with the Rieslings. Riesling was pretty much eliminated in Oregon when Pinot Gris came to fruition. And now they're seeing a lot more plantings of Riesling. We have a cooler climate. Great, it's a perfect weather for growing Riesling and Gewürztraminer, and even Müller-Thurgau, which you hardly ever see anymore.
Yeah,
there's only a handful of people doing that grape. I love this wine. I love the fact that you can open these wines up. You don't have to drink them all right away, and it's a wine that pairs so well with the peach tarts, pear tarts, those kind of desserts. So it's beautiful.
And bacon.
And bacon.
Just so you know. Bacon.
I never thought of the bacon angle. And retail on this?
20 also.
This is a 2012, man. I tell you, you can put this down for a good 10 years, and it'll just get more honeyed, more honeyed, more honeyed. It's just going to be a delicious wine long term. How many cases you made? What?
Everything's about less than 200 cases. So they're all small batches, small lots. Every single bottle of each of these wines I've touched.
Yeah. That's awesome. Anyway, guys, you can pick these wines up right here. Here's my link, and we'll also put a link on you have a website?
Yes.
And what is it?
www.WilliamRoseWines.com.
All right, so we'll definitely backlink it to that, and we'll put the show on there. So go to his website, check out his wines. He's a great guy. And what are your hours in Eugene?
So the Oregon Wine Lab is open 7 days a week, 12 till 8 every day, and it's 8-ish. I'm usually open later, Friday, Saturday night.
You are living the dream like we are.
Oh, yeah.
So your days are, let me see, God created living there. Where's the 8th day?
Well, Thanksgiving was great. I got a day off, so I went home and worked on the house. But I'm coming up on 4 months straight of 100 hours a week.
That's awesome, dude.
Having fun.
Welcome to America.
Mate,
all right, guys. Mark Nichols, William Rose Wines. Check this guy out. Awesome. Guys, take it easy. We'll see you soon.